I've had a lot of amps over the years, but one I seem to get a lot of questions about is my PRS MT100. It seems to be a bit of a misunderstood amp, or maybe one that just people don't have a lot of experience with. There was a lot of internet noise about it when it first came out. It was a long kind of waiting process for it to come out. And when it did, it was well received by some, but just sort of disappeared in my opinion. I don't really see a lot of people using it other than obviously Mark Tremonti, but I feel like it's an amp that doesn't get the love it deserves. It is probably the most versatile, well, it's definitely the most versatile high gain amp I have ever used. I've had a lot of them, pretty much any one you can think of I've owned, but this is probably the best amp that goes from clean to super high gain of any I've ever used. The Invective behind me is quite good. Definitely does a high gain thing, but I feel like the MT100 does a much better clean, a better mid gain, and then a comparable quality high gain, just slightly different flavors. But I was working on a demo and I'm actually using the amp on the demo. So it's like, why not just grab a couple of quick sounds from it and just put it out there. Again, this isn't really like a traditional demo. I'm not going to tweak a ton of knobs on here. Maybe I'll do a little bit, but I'll grab a couple guitars, play some clean, play some mid gain, play some high gain, and I've got a quick demo with it in the context of a mix. But anyways, I am plugged in right now. Awesome high gain. It's big, it's thick, it's super defined if you want it, but it also can be just a big thick wall if you don't, and you just want like a nice chunky rhythm tone. It does all of that. I've run it many times without a boost. I prefer it with a boost. This tone that I'm currently using is with an SD1 out in front. That is the tone I used for the demo as well. So the rig on it is this Misha Mansoor Jackson. This isn't the bougie one, this is the Indonesian one. But it's a killer guitar. Obviously it's very sparkly, which is kind of funny, but pickups sound great. The neck is awesome, very stable, and I thought it was kind of a good fit pickup wise for this amp. But yeah, it's a great tone. So what I'll do is just quickly, so you can see the differences, is I'll just, you can see on this second camera that I've got running here, I'll punch in, but kind of the current EQ settings. Bass is at noon, there's still a ton, like it's just, and this was a boost on too. I'm drunk, I'm on the wrong channel. Let's turn to like the actual bass. Middle right now is maybe at about 11 o'clock. So let's see. Crank. Tons of mids. The amp really kind of wakes up. I can feel it getting a little bit, not boxy, but the mids you got to be a little bit careful with. I've got more of a scoop sound today, but it's sweet for riffs and leads if you want to crank the mids up. Presence does a lot on this amp. So that's no presence. I've got it backed up for my tone today at about 1 o'clock, I would say. A lot going on there. It really starts to brighten it up, which is nice if you want to use less boost or no boost. You can kind of shine up the tone a little bit with presence. The amp has so much gain. You can hear the gate clamping a little bit. That's the amp barely cracked on the gain side. It's at like 0.5 gain if you really dime it. It gets noisy. I don't like that much gain, so I've got it backed off. Maybe, I don't know, you're probably heading towards 10 o'clock on the amp. Lots of definition, lots of sustain if you want it. It's just a great sound, honestly. Anyways, can't complain with that. I'm going to switch over to, I've got a baritone telly that I'm going to put on, and we'll do a little clean and see how that sounds. Alright, so now we are on, I've got just a Squire baritone telly, kind of a cool guitar, nothing expensive, pickups are not insane. I'm actually looking to swap to, I think it's Rabia's set from Bare Knuckles, something with a little more push. I like the amp to break up more. We are on the clean channel. Presence is essentially off and treble is very low. I find this amp very bright, but I think Mark does a lot of finger picking stuff, which makes sense. So if you're doing that sort of thing, crank it up. I have a tendency to use a hard pick, and so it's already pretty bright, but cool amp and a lot of room to add pedals on it. It takes pedals well. I am running the amp into the Neural Morgan plugin, and I'm only using the reverb and delay. There's nothing else going on. I'm just straight bypassed all that stuff. It's just the amp into my Suhr reactive load, straight into my interface and to Logic, and I'm running a cab IR of my own Boogie cab here, and I'm just using the wet effects from the Neural Morgan plugin, but great sound. Not bad. Good clean. I'll crank the mids back a little bit. Bass up a little bit more. These pickups are very low output, so I'm not driving the amp at all. If you run humbucker or something with a little more push, you definitely get the amp to break up more. There is a massive amount of headroom on the clean channel on this, so if you don't want any breakup and have it real pristine and sparkly, this amp will do it no problem. Very nice in that sense. But like I said, hopefully you can see in the other camera, I've got presence essentially off. Treble is like on 1, or I guess that'd be like 7 o'clock, but it's barely cracked just to add some sparkle, but you can hear it's already bright. Just quickly unplug, put something else in, excuse the buzz. It's not actually the amp. It's one of the lights in my room decided to make a little extra noise today, which is annoying, but humbuckers, these are again not super high output, Schecter Sun Valley Super Shredder. Beautiful guitar, sounds awesome. Very mid-forward pickups, but again, a little bit warmer, a little bit bigger than the Telly. Anyway, so let's plug something else in, and let's get the mid-gain kind of Dumble clone channel going, and we'll see how that sounds. For this one, we're on the overdrive channel. I'm currently using a Fano JM6. This is the Omnis series. So this is the offshore versions of these guitars. Sweet guitars. I think it looks cool. It's got a bit of an 80s vibe with that pickguard. It used to be black, but I swapped it out. I thought it kind of looked good. It's got a DiMarzio in the bridge. This channel is funny to me. I've got bass in middle around noon, trebles at about 1. Gain is pretty high at the moment. I'll give you some samples with it less. But let me just I'll record here on the computer so we can get some amp tones. So this is the Dumble clone channel, I guess you can say, or a clone of one of the Dumbles. I know they're all sort of different, but this one is a slice of one of Mark's. It's a cool channel. It's grown on me though. When I first got the amp, I genuinely hated it. I was like, I would love a 2-channel version of this amp to clean, high gain. That's all I needed. Sort of like the PRS version of like a 2-channel Recto or something. But it's really grown on me because the amp goes, if you crack the gain back, it's a bit of a boxy sound. You can really, if you crank the master up, get away from the drop D for a second. It's a very boxy sounding, but sort of vintage vibe on it. For me though, I like this channel sort of cranked up on the gain. Again, you get this sort of pop punk sort of mid-gain sound. We're gonna go back drop D for a second. Sort of a, what is it, Paramore? Something like that, but it tracks really, really nice. So again, I'm not much of a live guy anymore. I do a lot of sessions for people, mainly just guitar, a little bit of bass, but it's a great amp for different flavors. For the high gain side, I know a lot of people are like, hey, it's sort of a rectifier, Uberschall combo. I don't really get that. The rectifier, and I'm a big 2-channel recto guy, has a lot more sizzle and kind of like low-end thump, but a lot less defined in the mids. This is more of a raw tone. This is smoother, a lot more controlled, way more gain, definitely tighter amp, but I guess it's in that 6L6 thick amp vein, but it's definitely a different vibe. Maybe more Bogner than Recto, but I don't get the rectifier vibe. But just a cool amp with lots going on. It's unbelievably loud, and it's definitely an amp that wants to be played loud. If you're looking to play at bedroom volumes, the amp is not waking up. It's not doing what it wants to do or needs to do. You need to have it through a low box or be able to actually give it some beans a little bit there. Even the way I've got it set now is a lot quieter than I would normally do if I'm jamming, writing, recording outside of this sort of thing. But cool amp. There was issues, I guess, in the beginning about noisy effects loops. Comically, I had one that had a problem. send it back. This one is a new version, no issues, amp works great. It is a tank. Transformers are massive in it, and it's quite heavy, but I think that's kind of the point. Having 3 different EQs for each channel is phenomenal. Again, versatile, comes with the foot switch. But yeah, cool amp. If you find one, they seem to be going for pretty good prices used online. Grab it. It's worth more than people are selling them for. So anyways, that's my ramble for today. Definitely a cool amp. Mark and the PRS team did a really, really cool thing with this. And I'm curious to see if there'll be more from that camp, or version 2s or whatever down the road with some more revisions, or will this will be just kind of a big 100-watt one-off and we don't see any more from them. Who knows? But it's cool. Grab one if you can. And if not, hopefully you enjoyed what I did. If you got any more questions, let me know. I've got some cool amps coming down the pipe. Anyways, cheers.